my declamation, I chose Michelangelo. Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni, known to us simply as Michelangelo, is considered by many to be the greatest artist that has ever lived. The beauty of his artwork and architecture influenced the world. Although he thought of himself as a sculptor first, his exceptional talent as a painter, architect, and even poet during the 15th and 16th centuries has made him the most written about artist of all time. The dome of St. Peter's Basilica and the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel are two of his greatest achievements, and the Pieta, Moses, and David remain three of the greatest marble sculptures ever carved. Michelangelo was born on March 6, 1475, in the small town of Caprice in Tuscany, Italy. He was a mediocre student, but luckily his father took notice of his artistic talent and brought him to the studio of Domenico del Ghirlanda, who became Michelangelo's first art teacher. He was 13 years old and apprenticed for 3 years, and spent much of his time drawing. He learned his lessons well and very quickly. When Michelangelo was 21 years old, Lorenzo de' Medici, the ruler of Florence, saw his talent and invited him to move into the palace. There he studied the ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome, as well as art and architecture. In 1501, he was commissioned to carve a David from a giant block of marble. He spent 3 years working on the sculpture and started carving on September 13th. When it was unveiled on September 8, 1504, the people of Florence were so impressed they gave it a place of honor in front of the Palazzo Vecchio, the town hall of Florence, where it stood for 372 years. Michelangelo believed that sculpting in marble was the highest form of artistic expression. He disliked painting very much. In fact, he felt painting brought him sadness. Even though he disliked painting, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel is the greatest fresco ever painted. Michelangelo was also an architect who designed many architectural masterpieces. Some of his most famous designs are the Campidoglio and the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. Michelangelo worked on St. Peter's for many years. Tragically, he was never paid for his work, and on February 18, 1564, just 16 days before his birthday, Michelangelo died. He was 88 years old. Unlike most artists who become famous after their death, he was well known during his lifetime, and 500 years later, he remains one of the most famous artists of all time. Michelangelo was an incredibly interesting and an immensely talented individual who changed the way the world looks at art. I too consider myself an artist, and one day hope to influence people with my art. We differ in that Michelangelo came from a family with no artistic experience, where I, on the other hand, come from an artistic family. My father, Lincoln Turner, is an artist and teacher here at Chase. In 2008, we went on a high school trip to Italy, where I was able to see many of Michelangelo's greatest works. Michelangelo raised the standard for all artists who follow in his footsteps and left the world a more beautiful place.